Secretary Panelo at sa kanyang ama, dating mayor ng Davao na si former President Rodrigo Duterte at veteran lawyer na si Representative Rodante Morcaleta. Lawyer na si Atty. Ferdinand Topacio, isang miyembro ng Iglesia ni Cristo, ay isa sa pininiwalaang defender ni VP Sara noon pa man. Maging ang isa sa mga tinitingalang abogado ng Integrated Bar of the Philippines at ang former Solicitor General Jose Calida ay pinaniniwalaang ring posibleng maihilera sa mga abogadong ipagtatanggol ang Vice Presidente laban sa mga impeachment cases na isinampas sa kanya.
Hello po mga ka-viral and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Latest update na naman tayo. Impeachment complaint na isinusulong ng mga taga-kongreso kay VP Sara Duterte hinggil sa umano'y confidential funds ng OVP ay isinumiti na ng mga congressmen sa Office of the Solicitor General. Subalit bago pa umano ito maaprubahan ay dadaan muna ito sa Senado upang reviewin nila. Subalit marami ang naniniwala na hindi ito makakalusot sa Senado, lalo na at marami doon ang kakampi at kalyado ng mga Duterte. Muling nanindigan si VP Sara Duterte na wala di umano siyang dapat sagutin sa Kongreso, subalit handa siyang harapin ang isinusulong nilang impeachment sa korte. Aniya ay kumpleto ang mga dokumento niya sa confidential funds na natanggap niya bilang DepEd Secretary at patutunayan daw ito ng COA or Commission on Audit. Matapang din niyang sinabi na political harassment umano ito ng mga taga-kongreso sa kanya, lalo na't marami doon ang kontra sa mga Duterte. Kung sakaling matutuloy ang impeachment ay handa na di umano ang kanyang mga abogado upang ipaglaban siya. Nabanggit din kung sino-sinong mga sikat na mga abogado ang nasa likod niya upang kontrahin ang mga aligasyon sa kanya ng mga taga-kongreso. Kabilang din di umano ang ama nito na dating Pangulo na si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa kanyang mga abogado. Nagsimula ang issue pagkatapos na tumanggi ang Vice Presidente na sagutin ang disbursement at mga pinaglalaanan ng confidential funds ng OVP nung ito DepEd Secretary pa ito. Sagot ni VP Sara dito ay hindi korte ang Kongreso upang doon niya ilahad ang kanyang mga pinaglalaanan ng confidential funds. Antayin na lang di umano ng taong bayan ang totoong layunin ng mga kritiko kung bakit siya gustong ipa-impeach at patalsikin sa pwesto.
Tinatapos na nga po natin. Kumbaga, isasantabi natin yung confidential funds, yung probe natin ng good government dito. And si Vice President Sara Duterte, meron din po siyang statement. Sinabi niya na with that nga po, at least kahit pa paano, matatapos na rin yung tinatawag niya na may relief daw po bala sa mga personnel ng OVP and sa Department of Education dahil natapos ng hearing kasi nung mga nakaraang linggo daw talaga nababalisa, anxious daw sila, tormented, takot daw sila sa buhay nila, and that's why buti naman ngayon. And with the impeachment nga po no, na isasalang na, at least doon daw po masasagot niya yung mga dapat sagutin, lalo na may proseso daw ng batas. So, sir, ano pong masasabi niyo? Mas mabuti raw na mayroon nga impeachment dahil doon sa impeachment ako lang yung inahabol ng mga members of the House of Representatives. Hindi na nila tiniterrorize yung mga kasamahan ko sa Office of the Vice President. Would you like to comment on that? Na, yun nga, with your pag-summarize or pagtapos po nito ng confidential fund probe ng good government. And sabi niyo po, tatalakayin niyo na rin sa impeachment proceedings, kumbaga, kung magtutuloy po sa Committee on Justice itong confidential fund probe.
Well, syempre, nare-respeto naman natin ang opinion ng ating Vice President. At kung sakasakali nga po na ito'y talakayin ng impeachment ng ating Vice President, yung mga bagay-bagay, no, yung mga ibang issue, siguro mas fully masasagot dun sa Committee on Justice.
In addition lang po siguro, just a comment, I'm not sure if necessarily interrelated naman po sila Kasi yung proceedings dito sa briefing, not really briefing, proceedings po natin dito sa good government in aid of legislation, iba naman po yung tutukan po natin as compared to impeachment. So I don't necessarily agree, although we respect the opinion, of course, that's the good Vice President's opinion. Pero for her to say na mas okay nang, I think that's the gist of it po, Marian, no? Tama. Na sinasabi niya, buti lang natapos na itong good go para makaproceed na sa impeachment. One, the impeachment proceedings is separate. Two, we don't even know if it's going to proceed because as far as we know, there were only 2 filings as of late. And we're unsure yet of how that's going to proceed po, no? if it's going to really afford her that, yung sabi niya po, she wants to she's willing to have face-to-face. But when it comes to the impeachment complaint po, that's a separate matter. It's different from this. So we're not sure also kung the articles of impeachment itself would include this. So it really depends po on yung basis doon. So yung point lang being, parang these are two separate matters and I'm not sure if it really follows po, no?
Sir, I understand meron na rin pong parang nilalobby yung Makabayan Block or may nagpapapirma po nga nitong para sa, wanted resolution na po ng impeachment case at didiretso na sa plenaryo. Kayo po ba willing kayo? Are you in favor po para pumirma dito sa impeachment resolution?
Well, honestly, hindi ko pa nababasa yung laman ng impeachment complaint ng Makabayan Block. So, in the event na ibigay po sa amin to, pag-aaralan po muna namin kung ano yung laman nito.
In my case po, personally, di pa po lumalapit yung Makabayan. I haven't seen yet yung impeachment complaint po nila. So, we can't really comment yet, having not seen the articles po. If I understand, Makabayan is only one article of impeachment. Tama po ba? And that's very different because I understand, comparing lang to the other impeachment, there were 3 articles, 24 grounds. So, you have to consider in po all of that in totality before choosing which one to support po siguro.
Sorry. Follow-up lang, sorry, second to the last question. Sir, you mentioned po, Chairman Chua, several times na kulang po tayo sa oras. Tingin nyo, wala na pong panahon dahil nga magkakampanya na eleksyon. Do you think po it's better that this will be tackled, itong impeachment complaint, sa 20th Congress rather than sa 19th Congress?
Ano po? Pakiulit.
Sabi niyo po, wala nang panahon. Pinaka-challenge po, for example, para isulong nga po ang impeachment complaint kay VP Sara is yung time. Wala pong oras pa dahil magkakaroon na ng eleksyon, may kampanya, magiging busy, lalo na po kayong mga congressistas and senators. Kung sakaling umabot na nga po doon sa Senado yung bilang trial court, at ano po ba sa tingin ninyo? Better ba kung sa 20th Congress, tingin niyo po ba isa lang ang impeachment kesa sa 19th Congress?
Well, yung Senate kasi is a continuing body. Hindi naman yan matatapos. Meron pa rin naman 12 senador. Yung comment ko po ay personal opinion ko lamang yun. At hindi po yun ang opinion ng lahat. So, sinasabi ko lang yun dahil by February, alam naman natin, national campaign na. And by March, local campaign. Although, syempre, ang trabaho naman namin, ang mandato po namin is hanggang end ng June. So, in the event naman na itong impeachment talaga ay umusad, syempre may obligasyon din naman kami na ito ay gampanan.
We recognize Vic Sumintak, Net 25.
Congressman Chua, sir, good morning. Sir, now that the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability is eyeing for a legislation requiring confidential and intelligence fund disclosure and penalties for misuse of that fund, may we know kung ano magiging hakbang ng Congress now that the Commission on Audit, naglabas sila ng report na yung Office of the President ay top spender ng 2023 confidential and intelligence fund, pati yun ba ay bubusisiin din ng Kongreso kung paano ginastos?
Well, yung sa Office of the President is a different matter dahil yun may trabaho at may obligasyon ang ating Presidente bilang Commander-in-Chief ng sandatahan ng ating bansa at ang kanya po ay it concerns national security. Ito pong ipinapasa po namin ay paglilimita sa mga ahensya na wala pong kinalaman sa national security, sa peace and order at intelligence gathering. Kami po kasi confined, itong investigasyon namin is confined doon sa privilege speech ni Congressman Valeriano at saka ni Congresswoman Luistro.
In addition to that lang po, no, and just to be clear, 2 points make it different po. No? First and foremost, nabanggit po ni Chairman Chua, is that in relation to yung good gov, we were talking about confidential funds by civilian agencies that are not necessarily related initially. And whether or not this piece of legislation was passed, we are going to act on that. If someone filed a privileged speech or a resolution, if there were any regarding doon naman sa president, if ever it was found to be used in matters not related to their functions, then I think the committee would also take that matter up po. No? But the difference is it did not happen po. Dito, confidential funds of a civilian agency. So, President, very clear po. In fact, if I understand po, sir, no, the COA, can you give us yung value po, sir, yung sa COA? Ano po yung nabanggit? For 2023 po ito, no?
For 2023, the Office of the President under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the top confidential and intelligence fund spender for 2023 with a combine of 4.56 billion based on the report of COA annual financial report.
Opo, confidential and intelligence funds po, no? We have to take note, yung sa good government, what we're talking about is confidential funds of a civilian agency. Intelligence funds po, which are related to national security concerns as disbursed by the necessary security agency. Iba naman po yun. And I think the bulk of my understanding of the news was correct. Yung sa 4 point something, majority of that was intelligence funds naman po talaga. So that's the first po na, the distinction between confidential and intelligence funds, between civilian and security agency. Second matter po na yung pagkakaiba nito, we will take note, wala pong notice of disallowance. There was no notice of disallowance in the OP, and that's why no one has filed any privileged speech or resolution. Dito po sa OVP, nagkaroon pa ng notice of disallowance. So that's one difference po siguro. And in fact, one of the provisions in the new piece of legislation is that the notice of disallowance would open up yung COA declassification. So I think those are the two kinds of distinctions. But in summary po, if ever there was a complaint, I believe the committee will hear it. But given po na one, it's not really, that was intelligence and not confidential, and two, wala namang notice of disallowance, I think we'd understand kung bakit wala po actually in the complaint.
Okay. Sir, one last na lang go. On the impeachment issue, sir, as you have mentioned, na kung sakaling dito sa House, lumusot yung impeachment, pupunta ng Senado, yung panahon ang problema. Pero probably, sabi nyo nga kung Chua, continuing body ang Senate kasi may matitirang 12. Pero ang problema doon, di ba sir, based on the rules of impeachment, does not constitute yung required numbers that is 2/3 to convict the impeachable official. Then what will happen to the impeachment case if ever makarating ng Senado?
Well, unang-una, yung gagraduate po ay may mandato pa sila hanggang June, end of June. Hindi pa naman sila, ibig sabihin, hindi naman porke nagsimula ang kampanya, ibig sabihin ay hindi na po nila dapat kampanan ang kanilang trabaho. So kung ito po ay sumampa, whether may kampanya o wala, talagang siyempre bilang mga lingkod bayan, obligado rin po sila nagampanan ang kanilang trabaho.
We recognize Ms. Vivian, then followed by Ms. Mela.
Sir, bale, 1 week na lang before yung mag-break, yung Congress. So, napag-usapan na po ba sa majority yung impeachment with this time left before mag-break?
So far, wala pa naman po.
And then, would you have information po kung na-transmit na sa Office of the Speaker yung 2 impeachment complaints filed so far?
Sorry, wala rin po akong idea.
Your reaction na hindi pa po natatransmit? I mean, if at this time hindi pa natatransmit?
I believe ito po yung what we discussed in the previous press con question of yung 10 days. Is it necessary that it has to be transmitted immediately within the 10 days or do they really wait until the end? But given that the 10 days has not lapsed, we can't see any issues yet po, no? So we'll have to wait and see po with the Office of the Secretary General.
And then sir, dito lang sa mga final po ninyo na bills so far, ano po yung mga nakita ninyo that prompted the filing? For example, yun po bang current SDOs, wala yung mga background na nabanggit po ninyo, etc.?
Wala Ang sa SDO ngayon, basta't ikaw ay pinili ng head of agency, SDO ka na. Kaya nga medyo hinigpitan po natin dahil nakita po natin. At saka dito po, clearly, nilagay rin po namin na hindi mo po pwedeng i-delegate yung iyong trabaho bilang SDO.
Ano yung danger nun, sir? Pag in-appoint ka lang, hindi ka permanent employee na SDO?
Siyempre, kaya po namin na binigyan ng mabigat na para maiwasan yung pagkukuntsabahan ng head of agency at saka ng SDO.
In addition lang po, no? So generally, it's hard to summarize po, Vivian, sorry, kung what prompted us to file this legislation. But in relation to your question, the SDO, regarding, appointments in confidence, mahirap rin po because the necessary nature of confidential funds, given that they're given, it's more, there's more impunity in relation to its spending, there's more discretion, and it's under less scrutiny, apparently. That's what you've seen in the Good Governance Committee. When you have familiarity between the head of agency and then the appointed person of trust, it would breed some sort, not really breed, but what we would see is it could be a possible avenue for collusion. So that's why one of the things that was pointed out in the new piece of legislation is that it should be a professional, permanent office already. So once we've determined first and foremost whether an agency will require confidential or intelligence funds, then they would also need a permanent position which will not change from administration to administration. So less likely na po yung chances of collusion. In line with that, kasama na rin po doon yung dangers of further delegation. Mawawala rin yung point nung measures na anti-collusion if you will still allow the SDO to further delegate to other persons. In fact, our understanding of the joint circular was that bawal na po di ba, kung SDO po ako, bawal na po yan i-delegate. But given that we've seen that that is the practice, we felt that it is needed to necessarily spell it out in the law. So yun po yung ginawa po natin here, amongst other things po.
Okay. Dito lang, sir, sa yung isa niyo pang bill, yung imposing penalties for misappropriation of confidential funds. Wala pa po bang current laws punishing yung, misappropriation, misuse of confidential funds?
Actually, pag titignan mo kasi maraming po pwedeng maging punishment. Nandiyan dyan yung pagkamalaki yung amount, more than 50, plunder, so may mga so forth and so on, di ba? So ito naman po is in addition doon sa mga po pwedeng isampa.
We have to take note po yung legislation natin. As you mentioned, ito na po yung sinasabi natin in aid of legislation. We already have criminal laws. In fact, some of the words that have been thrown around were technical malversation, perjury, falsification, plunder, all of those put together. We already have the crimes to penalize. The problem is, we can't really pinpoint the liability. Kasi nga po, for example, ang sinasabi nila bilang SDO, I'm not liable kasi pinasa ko sa iba. Although alam natin there would be malversation, the question is, tama po ba yung pagpasa niya? Because that would define the procedure. Kung well and good, if they say, if the finding is allowed naman under the joint circular yung pagpasa nung disbursement to a different officer, then baliwala yung mga current criminal laws po natin. But if now we have this law that says bawal na po mag-delegate further, the mere fact of delegating would now open them up to yung technical malversation na sinasabi natin and other criminal laws that we already have in place.
Got it. Thank you.
Miss Mela?
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Kong Chua and Kong Roj,
Rosalie.
balikan ko lang po yung statement natin, yung press release natin kahapon kasi nabanggit nga po na may pinapacheck na tayong 1,992 names allegedly not tied to allegedly OVP secret fund anomaly. Tanong ko lang po sana kung may update na sa PSA about this big numbers ng pinapa-verify natin and kung sakali mang may resulta na, paano po ito makakaapekto sa ating findings gayong tama po ba, di ba tinapos na natin yung about sa confidential funds?
Well, unang-una, inaantay pa namin yung resulta sa PSA. Pangalawa, wala pa naman po kaming committee report na ginagawa. So, kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng findings, makakaasa kayo na isasama po namin yan sa committee report.
So ngayong taon, sir, wala nang hearing, tama po ba? Ang good government.
Wala nang hearing this year. Wala.
Next year.
Well, kagaya po ng sinasabi namin, sinuspend lang naman namin, hindi pa naman namin tineterminate eh. So,
Open pa rin
open pa rin.
ma-discuss.
Yes.
Opo. Sorry, may isang question lang po, other topic. Kay Kong Rog, kahapon po kasi sa plenary, inaprubahan na ng Kamara sa ikatlo at huling pagbasa itong House Bill number 1113, rationalizing the safety measures and penalties relative to the operation of motorcycles. Kayo po as a One Rider Party List, ano pong masasabi nyo rito? And can you just give us parang short ano po bang ano nito, yung bill na to, short na description?
Sorry, Chair Joel, parochial concerns. Yung concern po natin dun sa House Bill 11113, this is amendments to the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. It's sort of a mixed bag po, no? Kasi we've been active in the committee naman po. We have to